We're seeing points go both ways. That's what we like to see. Probably left side. That is Giants. So Yash, Mickey, Sonny representing the Giants, where Stuart handles Light Tunnel and Mumi, i.e. Pixel, representing Team Haerin. I thought Light Tunnel was a guard main. I think Light Tunnel was actually a DPS player. But predictions up, and I'm actually a little surprised. Interestingly enough, it started with the Giants being voted for, then a heavy vote for Team Haerin. So there is plenty of points on both sides. Make sure to get your vote in on who you think is going to win. Still a little bit of time left on that prediction as we get into game number 1 here, the Giants versus Team Haerin. Oops. Any your predictions on mobile? I'll be honest. I have not done a prediction on mobile in such a long time. I feel like it's that way, right? Sure. Double guard always feels awkward. Your last set was fun? Yeah. I will say most of these sets, I'm very happy and proud with how the draft actually turned out. I feel like they're fairly even versus last split or even some of the tournaments where it's very heavy, team heavy. But these have been good. Really good learning curve for most of these players and fairly even matches underway here. Looking at these builds, nothing out of the ordinary outside of a Chiron going Cloak and the Fafnir, or the Amaterasu, excuse me, going Beads instead of a Team Relic, if you will. Amaterasu's getting poked down just a little bit. It's no problem when you start talking about the Giants. Their only real negative that I'm looking at, their wave clear is terrible. Ahachi, until he's starting to hit that second item, is really not going to clear that all that well, if not fast. So it'll be a little interesting to see how that actually plays out. Team Haerin got plenty of pressure leading into purple. Good disarm by the Fafnir. Make sure he isn't able to hit another auto onto this Hachi. Surprised the cooldowns weren't there for the one. Big flop in by Bacchus. Burp gets silenced out by Amaterasu. The poke should pretty much end the same way, where Team Haerin do that wave clear, and this Uller should be able to just pressure them out and look for this purple. Not enough damage. Oh, it is enough damage. Holy cow. Okay, I thought it was just not enough. But the tick, just enough damage, securing first blood for this Charon, taking him over to level 5, securing purple. A really good start here for Team Haerin. I thought maybe he made it out. That's crazy. Obviously, in answer to your question or statement, Hope, with the Guardians for Team Haerin going both axes instead of what we've seen from some of these teams going gem with it getting buffed recently. Maybe they're just not, I don't want to say up with the times, or they're testing something else out. I will say gem obviously doing a substantial amount more damage, but do they have enough damage here? They do to return a kill. The Giants picking up the Bacchus. So both neutral buffs and first blood go to Team Haerin. We do lose one team member there. It shouldn't be detrimental by any favor. We still have this lead. Again, the first blood being the difference. Should be T2s across the board for Team Haerin. Cloak actually due to getting first blood for this Charon. Able to get that already started and underway. It is interesting. Both Chesters are up near purple. You weren't able to get T2 or even full thieves for the Fafnir. I know it's a little interesting. Both teams should be backing for item spikes. Uller gets full Transcendence, so full first items here for Team Haerin. Hachi's staying because he doesn't have enough for Dom. Curious how far he is off. Just 100 gold. So first item spikes underway, and that little bit of lead translated to itemization a little earlier as far as first item for Team Haerin. It shouldn't translate into much unless we just grab Chesters because purple hasn't spawned yet. It's going to provide some pressure on these waves. Uller not able to stop the back of the Hachi. I wonder how they want to play this. Red spawning. Flop comes through. Amaterasu goes straight into ulting the Bacchus, but does it really matter? Alt used. Depends on when she comes out. I don't know what release date is for her, I'll be honest with you. We're already halfway. Tomorrow we'll be doing or starting week 3, right? So yes, I would make the assumption unless she comes out next week that she's gonna be banned for the duration of the league. It's just like SPL ruling, she has to hit ranked and then be in ranked for 2 weeks before it would be allowed in league. Competitive matches. Chesters both grabbed. There's an interesting pickup and a good point. That Hachi, instead of going in AA base, allows us to go Transcendence. Maybe feeling that that's going to scale a little bit better than going Dominance first. But right into a Dominance? Maybe a little bit of a different build by the Hachi, testing something out. Take a quick peek at leveling order. Yeah, but Hachi's passive. He's not a god that's super mana hungry. So just going the Transcendence in general, I'm not really worried about that characterization wise anyway. So I don't know if I would inherently disagree with this versus going this Dom Exekins, especially into a double front line, but obviously this ADC feels comfortable enough and has the ability to pilot it in a format that's going to put him on the front foot. An ultimate immediately used by the Giants. Faf. Ult should be lasting for a full 60 seconds. Just waiting. I wonder what their engage is going to be. Red and purple not up. Johnson spawning shortly. That's interesting. Amaterasu was going to dash in there and get caught by the Charon Silence. He didn't find a ton of value, so an ult down for the Giants. Fafnir, fortunately, a little premature. Red has spawned. Both teams not substantially poked out, but just a little bit. Ultimate's obviously heavily favoring Team Haerin. Fafnir jumping in. Hachi all used. Plenty of poke there. Good axe by the Uller. Good flop. Decent setup. Appeal for their own team. Now Haerin ulting. Heavily used in return. Uller now center focus because he doesn't have leap. Fafnir stepping forward. Should result in a kill, and it does. A big pick onto the Amaterasu. Just not enough damage. They did get Uller beat in that trade, but is it worth it? don't know if it's relevant poke on the tower, especially with Johnson's this early. Uller only having Transcendence, not yet stacked, and a T1. Not doing a significant amount to that tower. Would assume we'd want to see one, if not two more items before full sending, killing that tower. Quick peek at graphs. So first blood, purple buff, gets red buff, loses a death. We've kind of stagnated until we get this big pick and lead into neutral. Johnson being pulled by the Giants. Hawkish just backing off. Ulur's grabbing minis in the meantime, but all three members of the Giants here making sure they can secure this purple buff. Hawkish doing really well, just being annoying. Get hammered by the Faf, but Axe returned to the Hachi. Transcendence is online already for this Uller. Start talking about damage numbers. The poke here by all three members of Team Haerin already over top. And overshadowing, if you will, the Giants. An axe by the Uller. Matrossi thought she could stop the back, catch him unaware. But obviously these teams are playing for money, cash on the line. You're going to see some of the best from the best players. Red spawning. Team Haerin just a little late on coming in. Bacchus gets a good burp. Nice double flop into an alt. Faf alt in return. Amaterasu alt. Only alt still remaining is this Hachi getting poked out by the Uller a little bit. Axe just missing. Red was secured by the Giants, but then Uller is now out of place. Forced to beads, jumps away. Bacchus is getting Johnson in the meantime, so looking for a possible wrap here. Gets a flop in. Gets the stun onto the Hachi. Forces the Hachi to alt away before the thorns fully pop. You know, for everything I was saying earlier with this Giants roster, I guess being the auto attack based onto Amaterasu and Hachi, unless you actually get to the late game in itemization, the poke battle showing that it's significantly more important in draft and obviously in execution. I'm not really... I don't know if I'm sold on this. A Transcendence into Dominance. Hey, Pookie. Pookie, remind me directly after the game, because I need to add that role to you, dear. I want to do it in between sets. I hope you're doing well. A ward on Bull by Team Haerin. Nice Charon ult hits all three, forces Amaterasu ult defensively. Charon dashes in. Amaterasu gets caught by the axe. Hachi forced to path out. I mean, really, of course, girl. I mean, I'm assuming we're just going to continue farming as Team Haerin. Giants doing their due diligence, making sure that Team Haerin didn't get a chance to pull Bull Axe. Not able to connect it. Fafnir goes into ult. Red is pulled. Sunder being used by Team Haerin. Horrific. Heavily in response. Make sure that he's able to get movement speed out, but it doesn't. Is it enough? When Ulu's able to jump in, Axe not there, but Uller, while they're trying to go for that full send, isn't enough damage. Hachi ults in. Is the Amaterasu able to close gap? Good silence by the Amaterasu. Beads regardless. Is he able to just stick there with the thorns? He's not. Amaterasu doing a substantial portion for her team. Haerin shielding OP, but Chiron ult is used, but isn't enough damage. Fortunately not. Amaterasu able to survive. We have 3 sets today. There'll be 4 tomorrow. I think I'm going to watch the 4 tomorrow as a replay on Monday. I'm still kind of going back and forth. I might ask you guys if you really want me to stream tomorrow night and watch those live versus just replay Monday. I'd rather not, but good luck, games. I appreciate the follow. Welcome, welcome. You don't even play Smite, but you're here to watch. I appreciate all that support, and I'm sure they do as well. Yeah, but 3 today, 4 tomorrow. There's a W. We always love supporting your homies or team members for these teams. I'm sure they really appreciate cheering them on as they try to fight to win those cash prizes. Team Haerin farming up, continuing to build on this lead that they've... It's not a massive one, but they have accrued a little something for themselves. This fight's going to come down to just one big team fight. Probably in about 10 minutes. Tablet, it is notable. We have a tablet pickup here by this Haerin. 3rd item. So 30% cooldown between these 2 items. Going tablet for the true damage. And I'm assuming it's going to be a mid guard. Trying to offer or facilitate a little bit more for his team. How are we doing, D? But these will be a big spike here. A double mid guard into a Hachi or even an Amaterasu. Having 2 members auto attack base for the Giants. Good recognition of what's really going to be a counter to that. I am interested, when I'm looking at this build, this Transcendence into Dominance, how that actually looks late game, or even at all when you start talking about Dominance or XE Kins instead. Those range ones are sure going to be chunking. Pulling Johnson purple for Team Haerin. Oh, they're farming for starters. You just hit level 18 as an Uller. Transdef a misclick? I don't know. I'm not sold on that, if it's a misclick or not, I'll be honest. So they saw the backs. This is a good pull. This is immediate. We have word vision, but do they have the burn to do it before Team Haerin gets here? This is really good by the Bacchus. Gets a good flop. Ults across all 3. I love the setup and start. Initiation, Team Haerin. Bacchus now able to jump on the Fafnir post jump, but is this Amaterasu able to find value on the collapse on Uller? But this Haerin shielding just doing so much. Amaterasu dash gets caught, forced to ult defensively, but does she have the ability to survive? 2 members go down, i.e. both tanks for the Giants. 3-member strong Team Haerin are in the driver's seat, looking to take this home. Almost 40-second timers and a full wave here to boot. So when they're going to start tanking this up, you got to be real conscious. Hachi does not have beads or ult. Him stepping up into this Haerin Bacchus is almost certainly death. You have 20 seconds before the nearest team member comes up. What is your play? How do you even begin to defend this, especially with this damage? A big set here to take this home for Team Haerin, and Hachi desperately just trying to defend or hold on with everything he can for Team Haerin, looking to take game number 1 of the set, and confidently at that. Insane game number 1 for this set. Listen, I will be the first one to say it. I was wrong. I was wrong in P's and B's. Amaterasu, Hachi with his auto attack base, mid to late game. If they never get to that point with his itemization, you're irrelevant. They just kind of run away with it with his poke and the setup, and phenomenally done by Team Haerin. I mean, all three, like, this damage is just, when you can't match it, it's insane. Through, like, this is high execution, or has to be high execution for an AMC just to survive. Like, you start talking about range damage, sure, and then he gets CC in front of him, they get a stinger, whoever, but he can easily get caught out. His positioning has to be superb. Beat Nate and Taylor all in one stream? Wow. I see you. Just say easy. Is that what you say? Yeah. You know, Nate is good. Taylor one's kind of free, though. You know what I'm saying? You heard me, Taylor. AMC starting to put up some of those hives. Would not be shocked if he goes to level 1-3. Quick peek at relics. Heavenly Horrific for both teams. ADC's going beads. Nothing shocking. And the only thing catching my eye now is the Fafnir going cloak himself. Interesting. So, maybe a slight adjustment. Instead of the warrior throwing on a phalanx of berserkers, you go in a double guard, you make that adjustment going cloak thieves. Hammer doesn't connect to cancel the burp on the Bacchus. Nice double stun. Bracken getting poked out a little bit here. Both teams going to be kind of jockeying until they see one team member overly poked out so they can step for this purple buff. Neither team feeling confident that they can do that yet. Ooh, I love this. Okay, good setup. The Bacchus steps forward. There's the poke we needed. As long as we don't get overly poked out as a Bacchus. We can go for this purple now. Good side step. He is the target. Charon trying to create some separation and poke because of Chiron dashed in. Chiron. It's going to be a blast when both of those players or characters on the same team. Johnson and Red pulled. Fafnir not here yet, so 2v3. But alts are up for only 2 members of the Giants as Fafnir doesn't have alt yet. Nice flop in. Double ultimate on the AMC Faf. Faf again doesn't have alt, so Red easily goes to Team Haerin. Should be now that purple buff. I am a little surprised. Only because this Chiron is sitting up here by himself. Especially like a Bracken alt in hand. Purple does go away to Team Haerin. So both neutral buffs in favor. No first blood yet, but blue being invaded. This hasn't happened a ton for the league, mainly because that requires a fair amount of pressure, but Team Haerin feeling confident enough to try to step up. Ooh, we drank 3 melees. It's going to get awkward. Bacchus flops in. Gets stunned out. So So the invade goes successfully. Do they have the damage to come across? Chiron doing a ton for poke. Fortunately, it doesn't result in first blood either way, but a blue buff successfully stolen for Team Haerin. The Faf leaped in. Should result in first blood. It does, but I would have thought it would have been on the Faf. Instead, it was turned onto the Gabrakan. Gabrakan goes down for first blood. Fighting over that Johnson didn't go in favor of the Giants at all. So first blood, both neutral camps resulting in almost 1,000 gold lead. First item spikes well underway. Not surprised by the Hive maxing. Looking for that movement speed and attack speed. Believe it or not, this Chiron item, Vital Amplifier has been talked about a fair amount actually on Chiron because of the synergy with the character. Oh, hold on. That's a stinger comes through for the Bacchus. That's 2 alts for 2 alts. Fafnir unwilling or unable to jump for this Bacchus. Changes targets for the Chiron. However, now he's center focus. AMC has to be careful. You're here alone, essentially. This Chiron is doing so much. The poke, the facilitation, slow, auto attack slow. The root and CC from his alt. This character doing it all for his team, if you will. Chiron, hold on. Does he actually contact it? Not able to find it. I can appreciate the confidence in that attempt. Willing to try to go for it. So AMC going this ability based. I'm assuming Chiron will be going much of the same. Just electing to go Vital Amplify first. Johnson spawning now. This lead isn't insurmountable by any stretch of the imagination, but 7 minutes in, having a fair lead in first blood. Wondering how that's going to transition, or how can we actually transition that into itemization or into macro, i.e. getting this tower, going for a bull. What does that look like? Red's going to be spawning shortly. Chiron, a level 11. Red spawning in. All 3 members of both teams are present. Chiron doesn't quite yet have his ult up for this fight, and AMC doesn't have beef, but good cleanse by the Chiron. I love this. And we get the steal off of one of the ults. Really well played by the Chiron. Making sure his Bacchus didn't get gridlocked. Oh, and I say that maybe a little too soon. That corridor just had enough space for the Chiron to be able to dash out a big flop in. 2 and a 3-man alt. Heavily used. AMC now looking at the Chiron. Yeah, I'm watching all 3 sets. Yep. I swear to God, he said he had someone spectated. If he didn't have someone spectated, I'm gonna do things. That is Jerry said next. That is true. We have 3 sets tonight in total. And obviously Team Haerin being 1-0 up in the set. A phenomenal start for them. Bacchus able to secure Johnson. The cleanse on the first CC by the Haerin. Still getting stunned out again. I love the utility that's being used by this Haerin. The one getting some really good cleanses for his front line and helping facilitate them. So purple and red buff. Both neutrals once again going Team Haerin. Secure their own blue, but Bracken has all. Are they able to do enough? Charon ult. They just don't have enough damage for this Bacchus yet. The shielding from the Chiron doing so much. Instead, they're going to be the one getting picked on this initiation. Like, I love the thought, but just not enough, and a surrender immediately thrown up. They don't have the damage to transition that, and Team Haerin running away with game number 2. Which we have bull call. AMC is the only one standing. Both frontliners down for 10 seconds plus. We've seen weirder things, and the AMC can steal it. But the risk of doing that, especially with Chiron ult being up, not worth it. AMC instead electing to go red. The camera was a little too large for my fault. There we go. Bull secured. Red picked up by the Giants. What does this look like in itemization? There's interesting. I'm assuming this is going to be the tablet again for Charon. Double breastplate for both guards for the Giants. I'm assuming it'll be a fail knot here. For this AMC, looking for that 40% cooldown, a little bit of crit. Some pen. A nice double flop. You gotta be careful. He's gonna be the target, especially considering. But do we have the damage? Kraken does have all. Is he gonna section it? Faf's the target, and the damage didn't hit the third, but the 2 should do it, and it does. AMC Stinger down on the Charon. But again, yet another cleanse. Didn't know if he needed, or had the 2 up, if he needed that third shot of Chiron ult. However, had the 2, able to secure the kill onto the Faf. Should result in a bird now because of that extension. Bacchus not able to connect that flop. A little unhealthy. Faf just spawning now. Bracken backing up. AMC feeling confident enough to step forward. You gotta be real careful considering this. Now fighting into a wave. Gonna be backing up, and an Aegis dropped by the AMC. It's going to be a double Phantom Shell. We have one already online, but a shell picked up. I'm assuming this will be upgraded after item completion. Fail not started for the AMC. I mean, at this point, Team Haerin kind of running away with it. Especially considering this Chiron is going to get this tablet online, start to stack it, and once you get those stackable items, I guess you're going to be chunking, right? You have a double Phantom Shell for Kraken ult. Now I'm mentally going, hey, Giants, what do we need to do to get in this game? We have double Horrific to handle the healing, right? Chiron passive, Vital Amplifier, as well as the shielding, right? with the shells, or even Charon. But what are we doing as far as getting enough damage online? If this AMC goes down, it starts that conversation of, I don't think that 2v2 is really fate. I have to go back. I think I have to go back. Because I don't... Was it a misclick? Had to be a misclick. Misclick. Okay. It had to have been a misclick because he doesn't blink. That is extremely unfortunate. When you talk about damage, the AMC alt Stinger being down, especially for a bullfight. Now, I wonder, did Team Haerin hear it? Light does know. Already has the Kin's Dominance Amplifier online. Assuming going into an Executioner now. Going a more auto attack based to deal with this double Guardian versus an ability based. Yet doing a substantial amount here for his team. Bull being pulled. AMC is on mid-wave. They want to take this fight. Gets a nice flop. Bacchus forced to jump away. Bad force to all. AMC's pushing T1. Do we have the damage to turn this out now, though? The bracket, I'm assuming, is going to be forced to all. This is that all-in on the Fafnir. AMC is split pushing this. This has turned into a little bit different of a format. Kabrakan locked under tower. The shell comes through. Do they have the damage? Bacchus flops away. Still goes down to tower shot. AMC gets T1 and Bird. A split push. And the value here by the Giants, dare I say it, a little bit of a misplay by Team Haerin. Wouldn't have expected that. Even with a 1-for-1 trade, AMC not being present, gets a T1 and Bird. You're taking that trade all day. Now, Team Haerin has to deal with fire waves. Wonder how the next team fight goes, or how we look to do this. I'm assuming this will be a Heartseeker. I'm surprised we're doing that before Titans. Erosion picked up by Fafnir to deal with the shielding coming through for the Team Haerin. Both teams just playing this slow. AMC doing his very best to poke down Team Haerin from range. All ultimates are up. Giants are stepping forward. Two members of Team Haerin backing. Both ADCs confident and comfortable with playing for level 20s at this point. Looking for those upgraded blue stones. That's interesting. So a completely auto attack based Chiron. Exekin's Dom, Vinyl Amplifier, I'm assuming going into an Oboe. Decent poke by the Giants onto this Bacchus, make him feel uncomfortable and out of place. There's a talisman for the Cabrakan, allowing some more mobility for his roster. Haerin being center focused. Now he's the one ulting. Drops ult. Doesn't catch the AMC. Faf obviously ults in return. Bird is up now for Team Haerin. However, all three Giants jumping toward this bull as fast as possible. The Haerin ult being down. This is what this is going to look like. Do we have the burn, though? Bacchus pops out. So immediately, I'm assuming the yell is to give it up. It was a little crazy when you start talking about Team Haerin was at such in the driver's seat probably 80% of this game, if not more. Now electing to give this up themselves. So let's take a look at how Giants actually elect to siege. Looking to push. We don't have blinks on anyone for either team to really close that gap, so you're going to be forced to walk up. Play it slow. Team Haerin won game number 1. Now defending to see if they can win it out the full set 2-0, or do they force to go to game 3? Bird is secure, but Bacchus now getting full set, but does he have the damage? AMC Stinger's out, steps forward to the Stinger. Haerin dashes in. We have to look for this engage. You're the healthier between the two. We have to be a little more confident. We are. Haerin stops Cabrakan back. But to what end? Do we have the damage? Giants getting Bird. Still on the upper hand. Blondie's flabbergasted a little bit. Again, you start talking about Team Haerin. They had, again, the 80% of the game. They had this lead. That split push, obviously, a really heads-up play by the AMC. The Guardians getting a 1-for-1 trade, and AMC getting T1, and Bird flipped it on its head. But I'm a little shocked that we don't immediately look for that engage. I know Cabrakan jumped in. We didn't get flopped, but then they full sent him. I like that Haerin ult coming across, and you just have to go for it. They were healthy enough to take that fight. Instead, backing off. Giants coming out with a small yet net win, getting that bird. Can't really say much considering when you start talking about money on the line, nerves come to play. And people take it a lot slower, if not more patiently. Looking for starters, Haerin has his on. AMC does not. Red is pulled. Haerin doesn't yet have ult up. Proximity ward used to get a slow on both frontliners. Now I'm seeing that, right? Haerin actually stole a red buff away from the Giants. So Haerin stepping up to get it. That is a fairly big deal when you start talking about a red buff and an upgraded starter, i.e. Bluestone, for this Haerin. I wonder how close we are. 1,500. So roughly 400 gold here for a full starter for the Haerin. I hate that their names are so close. Fafnir threw a sentry on Bull. It is notable, we have a Spectral on this Bacchus versus what would be your 15% crit chance on the MC. When you decided to go actually full Titans versus the upgraded Bluestone, looking for that penetration, more value there. Bull's pulled. Are we going to defend it? What's this look like? I love the pathing. Making them feel uncomfortable to actually pull this. It's at half. It's a good stutter step. Charon's here. And the Giants do secure it. Do they path out safely? Two members aren't here, so the Giants able to step in and take Bird comfortably without any strain. Now, what does this look like? Actually stepping in to siege the Titan. Not willing to yet guess that. AMC going for red, trying to get the starter online. I'm curious how far we are off. Probably about 200 gold. This is a little surprising, the Silver Branch for Haerin. Huh. I'm curious what that attack speed actually looks like, considering you don't have Shoguns or any aura. Might turn into a real long game until someone decides to pull the trigger and look for an engage. Neither team feeling confident or comfortable enough to really go for that. But you do have now starters on all three members of Team Haerin. That, I'm assuming, has to be the go button if full item last slots. Team Haerin, all starters in a 500 pot with only one starter for the Giants. Yet the Giants are the one sieging. Surely that goes in big favor for Team Haerin. Who's going to actually pull the go button? Charon range poke with this tablet axe, just doing a fairly large portion of damage to these tanks. Slowly getting poked out, but this Chiron's the one who's poked out. They'll step in and try to look for some damage on the Titan. There it is. There's the all. Hits all three. AMC forced to Aegis. Chiron ults across. Good slow. Heavily used for the mobility. But is it really going to come into effect? Horrific. Bracken off the section. This Chiron is damaged out. Stinger is dropped on the Bacchus. Charon dashes forward. Does he have the cooldowns for the kill on the AMC? Misses the two. Bacchus is being full sent. Gets a pick. This might go to a game 3, ladies and gentlemen. Does he have the cooldown? He goes down. Two members picked from Team Haerin and a possible game 3 on the horizon. Oh, I love the thought. I respect the attempt. You have to respect the attempt. A game 3 it is. Giants coming out on top. The engage just not enough by Team Haerin and getting that fight in favor of the Giants every time. Every time you vote channel points, I know. Sorry, you can win it back. How are we doing in active? Honestly, the little bit of damage, not actually killing. Like if Charon kills the AMC there, I don't know if he had play off and making sure you get a favorable matchup, higher seeds playing the lower seeds. So a decently large advantage if we're able to win this for either one of these teams. Taking just another few seconds to load in. This delay is always feeling so awkward. All right. Let's get ready to rumble. Okay, I can't even do that properly, man. It's crazy. Alright. See these teams load in. MC placing hives. Thorns right away for the Osiris. That's a little surprising. Take time to think about it. Walking out of base, that was showing he's confident on doing it. There's nothing really catching my attention. Drawing it out outside of the Atlas going beads. Atlas obviously fairly uncomfortable thinking that he might be that target stepping up for a Sobek pluck into some big setup or follow up by Haerin and OE. Now we saw some tasty taco on this E pick. I'm interested to see how Light Tunnel then pilots it. Atlas is the target. Silence catches his dash. He's getting a little poked out. However, Hou forced to jump back. I am really nervous for Team Haerin, especially with the poke from the Giants. Once they get these two items, it's gonna go real rough. Atlas dash. Are they able to turn it back on him? That's beads. Do we have the damage? They are able to kill First Blood, but the Hou takes a tower shot. Atlas goes down. His beads were used as well. It could be First Blood and a potential purple buff if the Osiris isn't able to steal. Red just spawning. Team Haerin not able to make this in time. It should easily be secured. But how does this post-fight look? His root comes through. Thought maybe they'd be able to catch the Atlas considering his beads were down. Unfortunately not able to close that gap. Even after catching the Atlas dash. Content with First Blood and purple, giving up neutral. Whoop. Thank you. Getting Johnson a little bit of a lead started here for Team Haerin. They are hovering for this blue buff invade. And they're able to secure it without any issue. Notice Giants all going speed there gives up blue. So they lose this red, but they're able to steal the blue away. Covering a little bit of the lead that they'd gotten off of First Blood, then the purple. Should be that full item spike for all team members. I was wondering. So he elects to go to Dominance. Assuming that's going to be a Dominance Exekins build here for Light Tunnel. Chester pulled into lane for the Giants by Atlas. Beads are still down on Atlas for about another 8 seconds. Orange Shard popped by Osai. Trying to gain as much pressure as you can. Atlas blocked in. Unable to catch his dash. Osiris now being the target. Red spawning. Both teams jockeying for any kind of poke, i.e. pressure that they can get leading into these neutral buffs. Both Red and Purple are up. Atlas ults, so he ults in response. Atlas now the target. Haerin ults across all three. Able to secure red buff with it. Plucks the AMC, gets beats, and immediate response to a Stinger. Just swap this out. Now they're just going to hover to make sure Stinger expires. Can they transition that to a purple buff now? This is notable, this Atlas, because he went down for first blood, not having enough for full Thebes. Only a T2 for these fights. More than enough currently. Only need that 1100. Not deciding to back quite yet. Ooh. That almost would have 100% spelled certain death for that Atlas. If that pluck had connected, he didn't have beads. Displacement would have caused him to go down. He was willing to risk it for the biscuit going for the Johnson. It's kind of interesting, side note. How many people are willing to die for this Atlas, especially early on when neither tower, like the biggest thing in my opinion, most OP stuff is going to be obviously the healing that's going to do to structures, but is that so impactful that you're willing to actually go down dying for it? Beads still down for Atlas and AMC. Alts are all up. This could be a big fight, assuming Sobek can find a pluck into a Haerin alt. There's no neutral buffs up, so Giants shouldn't need to really step out of this tower. Step up for anything. AMC, assuming he's going to be backing for a T2 here. I don't mind this ward here by the Giants. Gaining a fair amount of vision on Team Haerin. Sobek's wrapping. Beads are still down for this AMC Atlas. He's the target, able to jump that Stinger. Cooldown shard popped by AMC Atlas. Needs all relics up for both teams. Atlas dashing out. Oh, you can go for that stun on the Atlas and does. Atlas has the beads. Oh, you forced to jump away from the Osiris. Neither team gonna lose a team member. Just getting a ton of poke leading into this red buff. Haerin trying to gain 2, has 1 still up. Trying to poke down this AMC, make it feel as uncomfortable as possible. This is notable. We talked about game 1 especially. Before it was Team Haerin. Damage charts through the roof. But instead, now we talked about that in P's and B's. So OSI Atlas, AMC, the range poke, they're looking more so toward that top damage chart and poking them out, leading into these buffs. Red obviously being secured because of that. As a result, going in favor of the Giants. So he's doing his very best to try to get to the late game, get to that 5-item spike to be able to chunk these tanks down. And even then, I'm a little concerned how that actually trades with the Osiris. Both neutral buffs going in favor of the Giants now. A little bit of lead that Team Haerin had off First Blood is starting to decay. XP obviously starting to go in favor of the Giants. Trying to look at across the map. Haerin, obviously 22 stacks on Cloak. AMC getting close to finishing Transcendence. I wonder what spikes. Obviously, we're going to have to fail now. The AMC is going to be a big spike to start talking about. This Osiris either going Exir Kins in third slot. We're going to be able to do a fair amount. So back. The Osiris should be able to ult away, so double ult used. Actually, triple ult now being used. It's not even close to enough damage. No, it is not. All 3 ults expended by Team Haerin under this Osiris. I'm the Osiris. I'm taking that all day. 3 ults for 1. And I walk away without getting picked. You can be happy about that trade. That is going heavily in favor of the Giants. Fortunately, a little bit of a misplay by them. Cyrus is back. Red secured. Heavily used to disengage by Team Haerin. Sobek is picked up. He's able to pluck the Atlas. A little bit of a boost beats midair, but regardless, able to get out with his life. I'm waiting to see what second relic this Charon picks up. Sobek just didn't get a chance to connect that pluck. They're losing this trade pretty hard. AMC stepping forward with the Osiris. All the stinger just not there, but his Thorn's enough to kill. It's not. But will that be an overextension here by the Giants because we weren't able to complete that? Is it enough? The Atlas doing his very best to body block. Instead, AMC able to back up and path out. Walking away with his life. Just not enough damage. Stinger out of range. Not able to catch up and get that pick on the Yi. Instead, losing Osiris for it. It is insane. We're sticking with this build pathing for this Charon, this Cloak breastplate into tablet. He's pathing over this bull. They're gonna pull. AMC Osiris now pathing out. They are on a ward. The Giants are more than aware of this. Atlas doesn't have beads. Do they have the damage to kill him though? Pick the Atlas. We have the damage. He's jumping in. The bounce actually hits and forces both relics. Do you have the damage to follow up? He does. The bounce by the Ho Yi, but will he go down because of that extension? He should. Osiris ulting and the phenomenal Aegis. The damage to stun up of the Yi. Is he able to survive? The Sobek pucks him away. Should be able to trade it a 2-for-1. What a great Aegis. And bounced by the E. Good setup. Team Haerin able to find a 2-for-1. But this double guard pick, are they able to find the tower? I'm assuming not. There's both relics off both of these, both the DPS. See, beads coming up at 20 for the OE. Johnson's gonna be fairly important. This is that moment where we start talking about Johnson's. That tower is half health for the Giants. We want to make sure that the Giants aren't able to get this Johnson and heal that up. So good awareness by Team Haerin to make sure they're able to pick this up and secure it. Heads up for the OE as well. BBC. What's up, Braun? Hopefully you're doing well, sir. Tablet online for the Charon. It's going to be an oboe here for the Yi. So Bulls up. I doubt either team's going to elect to really go for that at the current moment. They want to look for some pressure, if not a full poke. Full pick, excuse me. One archer survives. I'd take that completely back. They don't give up. You know what I'm saying. Instead, pulling bull themselves confidently. They're trying to definitely bait a fight here. They are doing so on a ward. Giants comfortable, but just waiting. If you're not going to pull it and be serious about it, they do not need to step in. You're doing so on vision. Oh, that is unfortunate. Assuming Sobek's not going to be the target. Blink block not connecting to the AMC. Johnson just lands. Purple being secured by AMC. Decent double. Here's that Johnson we talked about. Nice little tail whip. Doesn't result in enough. Instead, the Osiris forced to ult away. Do we have the damage to kill this Atlas? It is kind of notable, Osiris, because the tail whip didn't actually push him out of that circle, Osiris walked away with Scepter. So, that being the case, if they're able to withstand this fight, Osiris can heal this tower up comfortably. And Giants will be back. I won't say in an even state, obviously still being down a little bit in gold. But able to withstand the storm, if you will. Not gonna lie, I kind of hate that mechanic, but obviously when money's on the line, you're gonna do what you gotta do. Cyrus just making sure he's healing that up to full before stepping out. Charon doing his very best to stack tablet stacks. Already having Cloak online. What mechanic do I hate? Oh, the Scepter healing tower. Johnson. I'm cool with Scepter being in the game mode. Healing tower is extremely troll. In like Conquest, sure, because multiple lanes not as big a deal, but when it's one lane, think about, yeah, it's just a dumb mechanic for Joust. But that is an opinion. Brad picked up by the... It's one of those moments we start talking about a sentry. Atlas here. Sentry being knocked down for the Sobek. So the Yi can try to pull this. We have 4 items online. Atlas plucked in. Do we catch the dash? You do catch the dash. Do we have enough damage to turn this out? Atlas dash. Caught, alt down. Hou Yi jumps in to go for it. We have the AMC split again. Does this same Same plan the AMC went for before. Does he get the chance to do it again? He doesn't because his double guard doesn't have the chance to survive. We were able to stop the back. We didn't get it. Get a decent amount of damage on the T1 considering, though. You have a 28-second power play. What does this look like? What value do we find? Are we able to dive tower? Are you going to push this? Osiris ults down. He does not have ult. He is here alone. AMC steps forward, gets Aegis out. Do we have enough damage to turn it? The Plock not able to find it onto this AMC. It would have been beads, but it would have been good to burn that regardless. Sobek tanking this up. The Hou Yi to try to secure this tower. Wave stepping in. Just not enough. That little bit of healing on the tower Osiris is able to do at the Johnson. There's your effect right there. The value clearly shown. Sobek jumps into ult. Do we have enough damage here? Osiris Atlas ults are up. You got to be conscious of that. Red's being pulled by Team Haerin. Double Midgard going on for this Charon Sobek. It's interesting. The Mantle of Discord here for the Osiris. So Mantle, XE, I'm assuming it's going to be Kins. Sobek, while he's waiting for his team members, healing up tower. What are we doing, D? Yeah, the Mantle proc, I didn't recognize what it was right away. The Mantle proc right there by Red. Yeah, I definitely did find insane value. Studying out two of the members, i.e. Charon Sobek. It was a really good Aegis yet again by the Hou Yi for the Stinger originally. Or the post-Stinger damage, I should say. They're content with just healing this tower up with Johnson. With the Sobek, looking for next Johnson, Wave Bull, I'm assuming. AMC just hit level 20. I want to take a quick peek at gold on him. Should have just enough. This next wave, he'll be able to back, look for full starter. This is one of those moments I talked about, and I'm actually surprised the number of teams that haven't utilized it. The Atlas Dash actually got caught. Hold on a second. Osiris actually ulted in, but the Hou Yi jumped it, looking for this Atlas. Do they have the damage? He's able to walk away with Heavenly, instead turning it back onto this Osai AMC. Hou Yi chunking down this Osiris, goes down. AMC just trying to kite for dear life. Are they able to pick AMC just trying to buy as much time as he can? Staggering death timers. A bit rough here. Hou Yi trying to pick T1. Should be able to do this comfortably. Atlas doing really well to try to focus the wave, but wave was already in there. So Prots down. Bird easily secured because of it. Team Haerin looking for the full set. Was 1-1. This was a game number 3. Looking to take down the Giants themselves. Will this be their deciding moment? They're able to take it home, and they are. Team Haerin looking to finish off the kill and do a 2-1 in the set. And a big win for them going into seeding and into week number 3. That was good. That's crazy. Pixel just too good. It is kind of a pixel diff. I don't know. I mean, you got to put respect on everyone in those games. There were some big plays, some potential misplays, but crazy. Trill. What up, baby? Appreciate the sub, man. Hopefully you're enjoying yourself with the league, sir. All right. So I'm going to update